Okay, so this video is mostly for Gene Keys people, but I think anybody else might find this very interesting. So most of you know that I love running words and looking at the Hebrew letters that form those words, that I'm always talking about the Hebrew letters, Hebrew letters. I love working with them. And why is that? Well, Peanut is telling you, but I will translate kitty meow into English words. Um, I'm so silly. Yeah, so because the Hebrew letters are so deeply connected to the gene keys. Now, if you're a gene key person, then you obviously know that the gene keys were born out of human design, and human design was born out of inspiration from the Hebrew tree of life and working with the 32 pathways with the 10/11. There's a secret sphere, Sephiroth, and all the different pathways and how they're connected to the 22 Hebrew letters. So that is how human design was born. And obviously, Gene Keys born out of human design. Same thing. If you look at the tree of life and look at the Gene Keys profile, you will see all the different pathways and how similar they look. Um, the one thing that um, isn't, let's see, where do I want to go with this? I just lost my train of thought. So what I want to show you today is how the Star Pearl, this new release from the Gene Keys, is so deeply connected to the Hebrew letters and a system called soul contract reading. And it's a very popular system. Many people out there do soul contract readings. They're based on your birth certificate name, your birth name. And I do as well. And I've done probably Peanut. He makes me laugh. And I probably have done some reports for several of the viewers out there, which, I've like created a report, sent it off and said, good luck. But I really didn't indicate the depth and the profoundness of these letters and your birth name. They're a fun read and people go, oh yeah, I recognize that and put it to the side. But really, getting a soul contract reading based on your birth name, it is, and getting the numbers that make up your physical karma, spiritual karma, goals, etc., is really the deepest work that you can do on this journey, in my humble opinion, if we're talking about systems, okay? In my opinion, the archetypes of the Hebrew numbers, letters, are the archetypes for the gene keys, like the mother. They're the mother of everything, right? All these big, energetic, geometric figures that have turned into numbers, which have turned into words. So, making any sense? I know I say that all the time. Okay, so I just want to share with you, yeah, the star pearl, the soul contract, and the Hebrew letters. So you can see. All right, so here's my star pearl. Yay, woohoo. Um, and if you take away these, you can see inside this star pearl, if you take away the outer lines connecting all the spheres together, you will see immediately two triangles, one pointing up, one pointing down. And what is that? It is in 3D form, it would be the 22 faced star tetrahedron. Is that correct? Which is the Star of David, also known as your Merkaba, also known as your light body, also known as causal body. So this is really deep work. This is what Richard doesn't talk about, or the association that I have personally made. I don't know if Richard has done it as well, is that the three or four different sections of the Golden Path Gene Key Journey, which is the activation sequence, the Venus sequence, which is genius, love, prosperity, is the Pearl sequence. And then you have harmony, which is the Star Pearl sequence, what we're looking at here, are all representations of different levels of spiritual initiation and consciousness awakening. So whereas the activation sequence is the first initiation, Venus is the second, um, Pearl is the third initiation, which is very high level, and then fourth initiation is Harmony. It is the Star Pearl. This is very high level initiation and very high level consciousness, um, yeah, to be dealing with. Anyway, before I talk any further, so here is the Star Pearl, and then here is Soul Contract. These are my soul contract numbers. And so you can see that these big archetypal number themes, in my opinion, are holders, or they're at the deepest layer behind what's in your Star Pearl. Does that make sense? So these big archetypal themes of the numbers and the letters are the holders of what's happening in the Gene Keys Star Pearl. Everything is born, let's see, where do now let me show you the Hebrew letter alphabet so it'll become clearer. Here is the Hebrew letter alphabet, starting over on the right side, because I read right to left, not left to right. The 22 letters, and each letter forms particular sides and angles of this 22 star tetrahedron. I've got the geometry right, of the light body, of your causal body. And of course, the goal of a spiritual disciple or aspirant is to heal and heal, become aware, become conscious of all 22 aspects of your light body, so that you can fully enlightenment, right? Enlighten each of these angles and lines, and so that your light body is fully lit. Enlightenment. I think I'll stop sharing now. Maybe. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought. But do you see the connection between Gene Keys, the soul contract, and the Hebrew letters? Like they're so intimately connected. And I guess the point of this video is to say, while the Gene Keys is gorgeous and beautiful and like so deeply profound, it can heal, deep healing. It is my humble opinion that it's not the be all end all, because I think that the vocation sphere, I don't need to share screen, the vocation sphere of the Star Pearl, which is the vocation sphere, it equals to your dharma, the thing that you're here to do or be in this lifetime, the essence that you are to embody. And really at the Star Pearl level, it's talking about the monad, bringing beingness into form, into your doingness. That's how high level I think the Star Pearl really is. That's between the third and the fourth, really embodying the fourth initiation. But that's for another conversation. But that vocation sphere is born out of your core wound of the Gene Keys. And the whole Gene Keys system is based on thought patterns, and really relates to, in my humble opinion, even though it includes this lifetime's soul extension stuff, I feel like it really only touches on the imprints of this lifetime, the personality and the psyche of this lifetime. And where another wormhole is at the core wound / vocation of the Star Pearl, or even just at the pearl or just the core wound, where you have all these thought processes and fears and psychic thing, not psychic as in intuitive, but psyche things, thought processes going on here. You dive deeper into that core wound, and that core wound is linked to this big archetypal theme number in your soul contract. So, for example, which creates it is a whole nother level of healing. That's going deep into the causal body level. And now you're healing even deeper collective fractal level, even deeper. So for example, my vocation, gene key doesn't matter, but the line number is repression. Okay. That repression is linked to my spiritual karma, which I have number 9 there, which is total repression. And where the soul contract, I'm trying to show you that you can go deeper into your healing by looking at the soul contract numbers, these huge archetypal themes that you have, and heal even at a deeper level, these deep embedded samskaras that go beyond concepts, which at this level is more abstract and more at the feeling vibrational level. And so working with, working at the Hebrew letter number level, because it is my opinion that it is those numbers that are holding this whole gene key pattern, particularly that spiritual karma, is like holding the entire Venus sequence together. It's those feelings that generated those feelings without concepts yet, right? But those feelings, leftovers from lifetimes and your fractal, is what generated your soul extension to come down and heal. It's a feeling that came down, and your original concept is your name, is your birth name. It's the thing that started everything else, and it's your name. It's a vibrational feeling energy. So if I came in with this repressive, and it's a feeling that was generated from the initial separation, right? Absolutely. Richard is right. That core wound is initial separation. But what was that? There is an abstract thought that comes from these numbers. It's a feeling and an abstract thought. And that is the one feeling and thought that's holding it all together, all the gene keys, shadow, everything together. Isn't that profound? I probably didn't. Did I connect the dots here? Do I make any sense? So that's why I like to talk about these Hebrew letters, because they're numbers. They are so deep. And while the gene keys, I think, are brilliant, I think that you can go deeper, because the deeper you go, right, the closer you get to truth. And truth is always so simple and so clear. Like, you can look at the gene keys and the mind wants to make things so complicated and get identified with all these concepts and stories and la-di-da. But all you really need to do is get in to the deepest layer. And here's the point I also wanted to make. It's at that core wound level, not just in the gene keys, because I definitely could feel repression. I'm like, oh yeah, repression. But then when I started studying the Hebrew letters and I pulled together all this information about, like, what does this letter number really mean, pulled from all different systems. I have a lot of information, a lot of inspiration. And when I looked at the abstract thought of what the number nine was feeling in its separated state, then it hit. Then I was like, oh, yeah, my whole life I felt like this, and this is the energy that has been, it's so me that I didn't know it was not me, that I just thought, this is the way I am. I came in depressed, repressed, feeling like I'm cut off from the world, that I don't belong. That's your original, like, samskara thing that's been with you lifetime after lifetime. And I could see the lifetimes flashed. The one lifetimes that I can remember all have that repressive, I don't belong to society kind of theme. And once I saw that connection and that number, that disempowering energy and repression is starting to heal. I mean, it's just now starting to heal because I'm just now really able to go that deep beyond the gene keys. Hmm. What do you think? Are you interested in learning more about the Hebrew letters? I don't know. I think this is something that I'm working on. I'm waiting for more inspiration, but this is what I get is my dharma, because I do have gene key 13, and it talks about that um, you're here to show people their past, their archetypal stories, and how to heal them. And who knew that I was already doing that? I didn't connect the dots. So yeah, I think we can go much deeper and healing at the causal body level. And then we're free from having to be on the incarnational cycle. Let me know if this makes sense or if it's interesting. And yeah, okay, next time.